Chapter 3840, Corpse Explosion.
The Twilight Drum Emperor didn't ask Lin Moyu why he wanted to do this and simply agreed.
All right.
A wisp of Lin Moyu's soul was drawn away and landed on the projection clone of the Morning Bell. In the next instant, Lin Moyu felt his soul had already arrived in the outside world. The Morning Bell Emperor seemed to hear the words of the Twilight Drum Emperor and struck the Morning Bell heavily, causing the just stabilized space to shatter once more. Countless spatial rifts appeared, enveloping the Lord of Time. The descending power of time was forcibly cut off as well. But this situation couldn't last long. The Lord of Time was still laughing wildly.
It's useless. You can't trap me in the space-time spirit realm.
The Morning Bell Emperor said nothing, continuing to strike the Morning Bell. Space exploded with a roar, forming spatial vortices, trying to sweep the Lord of Time away. On the other side of the spatial vortex, the Origin ancestral land appeared as a phantom. This time, the spatial eruption was so intense that even the Lord of Time found it difficult to control himself. At that moment, Lin Moyu's wisp of soul silently landed on the Lord of Time. The Twilight Drum Emperor spoke at the same time.
It's done.
Lin Moyu could sense it too. He took a deep breath and focused his will.
Corpse Explosion.
The void soul essence stone in his hand silently disintegrated. Boom! A burst of brilliant light erupted from the Lord of Time, followed by his anguished scream. A massive hole appeared in the Lord of Time's soul. His aura plummeted, weakening by an unknown magnitude. Lin Moyu was overjoyed.
It worked.
Using the void soul essence stone as the material, he had truly blasted the Lord of Time. The injury wasn't just to the soul, even his physical body, wherever it was severely damaged in this explosion. It had been a long time since he'd used Corpse Explosion, but its effect was as reliable as ever. Eternal existences cannot die, only fall into dormancy, but that doesn't mean they can't be injured. This corpse explosion was enough to leave the Lord of Time with a lasting lesson. The Lord of Time didn't even know where the attack came from. Even if he searched the River of Time, he wouldn't be able to find Lin Moyu within the space-time spirit realm. This time, he would have to swallow the loss in silence. The bell rang out even more fiercely, seizing the opportunity while he was down. The Morning Bell Emperor struck again, kicking the Lord of Time while he was weak. Although everyone knew the Lord of Time couldn't be killed, making his injuries worse, or even forcing him into dormancy, was not impossible. The Lord of Time regained his senses and, enduring the pain, forcefully pulled the River of Time to his side. With a single step, he entered the River of Time, which then disappeared. He had fled. As he left, Lin Moyu saw fear in his eyes. It was clear that at his level, there was little in the world he didn't know. But now, after being wounded by an unknown source, that was what truly terrified him. He feared dormancy. He wouldn't dare stay here any longer. Not just the Morning Bell Great Spirit Domain, but even the Twilight Drum Great Spirit Domain, he probably wouldn't dare linger in. The Twilight Drum Emperor said,
Taoist Lin, what a brilliant move you managed to so grievously wound the Lord of Time.
Lin Moyu replied,
That was my trump card, senior. Please help me keep it secret.
The Twilight Drum Emperor laughed.
Rest assured, Taoist Lin, I won't say a word about what happened here, not even to Discernment Beast.
A shimmer of light, and the Morning Bell Emperor arrived. Lin Moyu sensed the complexity in his gaze. He was clearly still processing what had just happened. Lin Moyu asked,
What will you two emperors do next?
The Morning Bell Emperor sighed.
I thought I could outmaneuver Shiryu this time, using him to pull the Twilight Drum brother back from the River of Time. I didn't expect to fall into Shiryu's scheme again and nearly cause disaster. Fortunately, Taoist Lin, you resolved the crisis. After this, Shiryu will definitely go off to heal. He'll return to the real world and won't come back to the Twilight Drum Great Spirit Domain for a while.
Lin Moyu nodded. Judging from the Lord of Time's expression just now, this was highly likely. The Morning Bell Emperor continued,
I have an idea, but I don't know if it's feasible.
Lin Moyu said,
Please speak, Emperor.
The Twilight Drum Emperor added,
Say whatever's on your mind. Taoist Lin is easy to talk to, unlike Shiryu.
The Morning Bell Emperor said.
Taoist Lin, you also understand the time Great Tao, so you should be able to summon the River of Time. While Shiryu is away healing, I'd like you to enter the River of Time and find where the Twilight Drum Brother is sealed.
Lin Moyu's expression changed, a wry smile on his face.
Emperor, you give me too much credit. I'm just a first-tier innate soul at the Great Tao realm. Entering the River of Time isn't a problem, but finding where the Twilight Drum Emperor is sealed would be suicide.
It was easy to imagine that the place sealing the Twilight Drum Emperor would be under the Lord of Time's watch. If Lin Moyu went there, he'd be swatted to death. The Morning Bell Emperor looked to the Twilight Drum Emperor.
Twilight Drum Brother, do you think this is possible?
In terms of understanding the River of Time, aside from the Lord of Time himself, the Twilight Drum Emperor was the expert. The Twilight Drum Emperor thought for a moment.
It is dangerous, but not impossible. Most of the River of Time records the events of past and present. Only a tiny part is used to seal my main soul. Back when I debated the Tao with the Lord of Time, we used the Twilight Drum to evolve a branch of the River of Time. If Taoist Lin is willing, he can use this branch to conceal himself. Even if Shiryu weren't injured, as long as he isn't watching the River of Time, it would be hard for him to sense you.
Lin Moyu felt the Twilight Drum Emperor was trying to reassure him, hinting that he wanted Lin Moyu to go. It was understandable retrieving the main soul was like resurrection, and no matter how calm the Twilight Drum Emperor appeared, he couldn't resist the temptation. But he didn't say it outright, perhaps not to pressure Lin Moyu. The Morning Bell Emperor was more direct.
Taoist Lin, will you go? We'll do our best to keep you safe. I'll lend you the Morning Bell's projection if you're in danger. You can use it to escape the River of Time.
Lin Moyu thought for a moment.
This is too dangerous for me. I really don't want to go.
As he spoke, both emperors showed clear disappointment. Lin Moyu continued.
If you really want me to go, I have a few small requests I hope you'll agree to.
The Morning Bell Emperor said.
Name them.
Lin Moyu said.
I want 3 Void Soul Essence Stones, each at least as big as the last one, and I want this Essence of Chaos as well.
Without hesitation, the Morning Bell Emperor agreed.
No problem.
He immediately produced 3 Void Soul Essence Stones, each larger than the previous one. Lin Moyu knew he must have accumulated them over the years. Sure enough, he had. He wasn't greedy. 3 were enough. Lin Moyu said.
And my third request is actually the one I mentioned before about the will of my world. Now that Shiryu can't act, I hope you 2 emperors will help.
The Morning Bell Emperor said.
I already promised that I will definitely act when the time comes.
3841 3841. Chapter 3841. Entering the River of Time. This time, Lin Moyu didn't take the opportunity to make excessive demands. His requests were reasonable and completely within the Morning Bell Emperor's ability to fulfill. The Morning Bell Emperor tore open the Soul Void space and directly sent Lin Moyu out of the Morning Bell Great Spirit domain. In Lin Moyu's left hand, there was now a small illusory bell. This was the Morning Bell's projection. While not as powerful as the true body, it was enough to break through the void and allow Lin Moyu to exit the River of Time. Not only that, but in Lin Moyu's right hand, there was now a small drum. This was the Twilight Drum's projection, which could control the Time River evolved from the original drum. The Twilight Drum Emperor had not perished. Strictly speaking, the Twilight Drum still belonged to the Emperor. This false River of Time was evolved by the Twilight Drum Emperor, so naturally, he could manipulate it to some extent. After leaving the Morning Bell Great Spirit domain, Lin Moyu summoned the Space Tao Spirit and had it teleport him 10 times in a row, instantly traveling over 1 billion kilometers. After the teleportations, the Space Tao Spirit needed to rest and recover its power. Lin Moyu then unfurled the wings of Time's curse and flew toward the Twilight Drum Great Spirit domain. Returning to the Twilight Drum Great Spirit domain was not without risk for Lin Moyu. Although he guessed the Lord of Time had most likely left, there was no guarantee. It was possible the Lord of Time was still in the Twilight Drum Great Spirit domain, and if Lin Moyu returned even without evidence, the Lord of Time might attack him. In a fit of rage, there was nothing such a being wouldn't do. According to his own words, killing Lin Moyu would entail great karmic consequences, and beings of that level didn't want to bear that burden but
Didn't want.
didn't mean.
Couldn't.
Lin Moyu mentally prepared himself. If he really did encounter the Lord of Time and was attacked, he had already devised countermeasures. After more than 10 days, he finally returned to the Twilight Drum Great Spirit domain. This time, he wasn't affected by the drum beats and entered the domain smoothly. Following the imitation river of time, he quickly found the Twilight Drum's location. Within the Great Spirit domain, apart from the Twilight Drum and the River of Time, there was nothing else. Sweeping the area with the eye of the undead, he saw no soul bodies.
Has the Lord of Time really left?
Lin Moyu guessed that the Lord of Time was probably gone, but he still felt uneasy. He summoned the Scarlet Blood Dao Spirit, True Fire Dao Spirit, Space Dao Spirit, and Sword Dao Spirit simultaneously. With a thought, the Scarlet Blood Dao Spirit transformed into a sea of blood, covering billions of miles of void. The True Fire Dao Spirit ignited True Fire, joining the Scarlet Blood Dao Spirit in guarding the void. The Space Dao Spirit sliced through space, its small body hiding in another layer of space unseen, but still guarding the area. The Sword Dao Spirit turned into a sharp blade, standing between the sea of blood and true fire. There were no void beasts or living beings here, allowing the Dao Spirits to unleash their full power. Since he couldn't be sure whether the Lord of Time had really left, Lin Moyu first ensured absolute safety within this vast stretch of void. If the Lord of Time appeared, it would be best not to fight. But if he did, the 4 Dao Spirits would be the first line of defense. If the 4 Dao Spirits went all out, it would trigger great Dao punishment, potentially dragging the Lord of Time down with them, just like when they took out the remnant soul of the World Tree Emperor, using the power of the Great Dao to deal with the Lord of Time. Killing him was impossible, but forcing him into dormancy was possible. Against such a being, Lin Moyu had to be cautious. His conscience was clear after all. The Lord of Time had tried to set him up and nearly got him killed. They were already mortal enemies. After making these preparations, Lin Moyu took a deep breath and activated the small Twilight Drum in his right hand. The projection of the Twilight Drum resonated with its true body, and the imitation river of time began to surge, rolling in layers and enveloping Lin Moyu like waves. From the outside, Lin Moyu's figure vanished without a trace. But for Lin Moyu, his vision was unaffected. Next, the wings of Time's curse fluttered, scattering the power of time as the Time Great Dao was pushed to its limit, summoning the River of Time. The River of Time was broad and turbulent, with countless waves crashing and rolling. Every drop of water here was a great Dao, recording the events that had occurred in heaven and earth. When cultivating the Time Great Dao before reaching the Dao Lord realm, one could use the Time Great Dao to look back in time and see what happened in a certain region. The higher one's cultivation, the further back one could look. After becoming a Dao Lord, one's control over time grew stronger, and one could even summon the River of Time. Upon reaching the Great Dao realm, it was even possible to enter the River of Time in person. But doing so was not safe. The River of Time was dangerous, and entering it at will could easily lead to becoming lost. Some people entered the River of Time and, upon returning, found their consciousness and thoughts disturbed. Their Dao hearts weren't strong enough to withstand the flood of information in the River of Time, and they could no longer distinguish past from present. Some even died in the River of Time after seeing things they shouldn't have. Lin Moyu was aware of this and always treated the River of Time with respect. Even after awakening his divine ability, before reaching the Dao Lord realm, he never thought of entering the River of Time. But this time he had no choice. Divine ability, roaming. He used the divine ability again, this time entering in person, wrapped in the imitation River of Time, and sank into the true River of Time, vanishing from sight. A torrent of information immediately crashed into him, chaotic, without order, with events from unknown times all mixed together, bombarding his soul. Lin Moyu's will surged, blocking all this information from entering, refusing to let any of it in. In the River of Time, he had to use his Tao heart to sort things out, using it to search for the information he needed. With a firm Tao heart, Lin Moyu quickly went from unfamiliar to proficient. He filtered out the flood of information and gradually mastered how to find what he needed in the River of Time. Lin Moyu began to roam the River of Time, watching the past unfold. Many events that had occurred in heaven and earth appeared before his eyes. The rise and fall of worlds, grand battles, all were laid bare before him. As his Tao heart and will shifted, he found information related to himself. A familiar world appeared before his eyes. It was the former origin continent. The era of the insect race, the era of the Buddhist race, all appeared before him. He saw how the insect race was destroyed and witnessed the growth of the world will, which gave rise to a second Buddhist era. Then, as the world will continued to grow, it decisively destroyed the Buddhist race when it sensed someone was trying to transcend. Suddenly, the world will of the origin continent in the River of Time looked at him, a palm reaching out.
Peeping die!
A thunderous roar rang in his ears, and Lin Moyu's Tao heart was violently shaken, sending him flying. The imitation River of Time surrounding him flashed, blocking the attack. All the scenes before Lin Moyu shattered, and he looked stunned. That was the world will of the origin continent, having just destroyed the Buddhist race and entered the formation stage. It had left a mark in the River of Time, and when it discovered Lin Moyu's peeping, it attacked him. Although it didn't cause any real harm, it showed just how terrifying the world will was. At the same time, Lin Moyu realized another problem. The origin continent's world will was proficient in the Time Great Tao. This also meant it could summon his former self from the River of Time. I really underestimated the world will. Chapter 3842. Roaming. Lin Moyu had always paid close attention to the will of the origin continent, especially after arriving in the Jumu World Tree Great Spirit Domain. In the Jumu Great Spirit Domain, the world wills of those powerful world lords had all reached the
manifestation
stage. At first glance, the strength of these world wills didn't seem much weaker than that of the origin continent. But upon closer thought, there was a vast difference between them. If it really came down to a fight, the origin continent could crush the world wills in the Jumu Great Spirit Domain, of course. That's assuming the world lords themselves didn't intervene and it was a pure contest of world wills. The worlds in the Jumu Great Spirit Domain had all had their will's intelligence erased at some point. Even if they regained knowledge later, they were essentially at the level of
world kings.
But the origin continent was different. It had grown to this point entirely on its own, its intelligence extremely powerful and its actions extremely decisive. At the first sign of trouble, it would directly annihilate the threat. It had reached the peak of the manifestation stage, only one step away from eternity. Within its world, it could wield all the great Taos that had ever evolved there. Not to mention anything else, just the ability to summon its past selves from the River of Time was terrifying enough. Such things had happened before. In the Great World, strong cultivators from the Black Blood Realm had once summoned powerful beings from the River of Time using special methods. Not only could they do it, but world wills could as well. Lin Moyu realized he needed to reassess the will of the origin continent. It was even harder to deal with than he'd previously thought. This trip into the River of Time had not been in vain. He'd seen this point almost immediately after entering. He remembered that last time he entered the River of Time, his Tao body was scattered after only a few seconds. This time, with the protection of the imitation River of Time and entering with his true body, his endurance was much greater. He continued using his divine ability,
roaming,
to travel through the River of Time, witnessing many past events. However, Lin Moyu avoided peering into the pasts of certain powerful beings. The marks those beings left in the river were too strong, and probing them would trigger instinctive retaliation. Some powerful beings, upon reaching a certain realm, could erase their own past marks, while others would strengthen them. Each had their own approach. For example, the human sovereign had erased all traces of his deeds. Lin Moyu could only vaguely glimpse the human sovereign's weaker years, but the images were blurry and indistinct, and Lin Moyu knew not to look further. His gaze swept across world after world, each one unfolding as a grand tapestry before him. Almost every world was a history of war. No world could become strong in peace. Until a true ruler appeared, every world was filled with conflict. This was true not only within worlds, but also at the level of small spirit domains and even great spirit domains. If there were no human sovereigns suppressing things in the Jumu Great Spirit domain, and no trading market, then for the sake of resources the worlds would be in constant turmoil. In a sense, no matter what the human sovereign had done, his merit in this regard was immense. As he roamed the river of time, Lin Moyu also discovered that he still couldn't see things too far back. He had originally wanted to see what happened at the very birth of heaven and earth, when the river of time first appeared, and how the worlds came into being. But after trying, Lin Moyu confirmed that this was impossible. It was as if the river of time had some invisible rule burying that segment of history. He didn't know if it was the work of the Lord of Time, the river of time itself, or some other reason. Lin Moyu calmed his mind and didn't dwell on it. He kept moving forward, heading for the end of the river, searching for the place where the Twilight Drum Emperor might be sealed. In the river of time, time itself was meaningless. After traversing a long stretch, Lin Moyu saw a small island. A floating island in the river of time was a strange sight. Lin Moyu immediately recognized that the island was not naturally formed, but artificially arranged. Only the Lord of Time could set up an island in the river of time. Lin Moyu didn't approach, but observed from a distance, seeing a house on the island. The house was wrapped in time, with the flow of time there speeding up and slowing down, extremely chaotic. From the house, Lin Moyu sensed a familiar aura.
The Lord of Time.
It was indeed the Lord of Time's aura. Lin Moyu was sure he wasn't mistaken. He hadn't expected the Lord of Time to be here. His aura was fluctuating and as chaotic as the flow of time itself. From this, Lin Moyu could tell that the Lord of Time was seriously injured. This instability was a sign of being unable to control his own power. Lin Moyu chose to give the area a wide berth. Even though he was cloaked in the imitation river of time, if he got too close, he might still be discovered.
If the Lord of Time is healing here, then the place where the Twilight Drum Emperor is sealed shouldn't be far.
Lin Moyu understood human nature. People always keep what's important within reach, never out of sight. But the Twilight Drum Emperor wasn't a dead object, he was an emperor, an eternal existence. When the Lord of Time sealed him, he would have considered every contingency. So the seal wouldn't be placed right at hand, but at a proper distance, close enough to monitor, but not so close as to be dangerous. Following this logic, Lin Moyu began searching around the island. Time sometimes surged like waves, sometimes flickered like rays, weaving countless scenes and beams of light. After searching for a while, Lin Moyu finally found something. In one area, time was especially chaotic, filled with overwhelming images and information. If a Tao Lord entered this region, they would be affected by the time flow, their thoughts would stagnate, and the flood of information would impact their soul with unimaginable force. This was the river of time's defense, a defense using information and time itself, a method only the Lord of Time could devise. Lin Moyu flew toward the chaotic area, steeling his Tao heart, ready to endure the impact. He wasn't worried about the chaotic time. His imitation river of time would protect him. The chaotic flood of information, however, had to be resisted with his own Tao heart. As he approached, the previously calm time suddenly erupted, transforming into blades that instantly enveloped Lin Moyu. The time chaos was blocked by the imitation river of time. A torrent of chaotic information followed, filled with violence, disorder, and terrifying resentment. Lin Moyu heard the wails of 10,000 souls, and before his eyes, blood surged, forming a sea of blood. Endless murderous intent filled the information, striking directly at his soul. If his Tao heart weren't firm, he would have been overwhelmed in an instant, either becoming a mindless husk or turning bloodthirsty, unable to find himself again. A Tao Lord's Tao heart is always firm, but when thoughts are affected by time, that firmness is greatly weakened. The chaotic information would seize the opportunity, and hidden within it was the Lord of Time's power, extremely subtle, capable of silently shattering the Tao heart. This was an extremely insidious defense. Lin Moyu guarded his Tao heart, pushing through the impact of the chaotic information. Finally, he saw a space. Most of the River of Time is used to record the ages, but a tiny part is used for other purposes. The island was one such place. This space was another. As he drew near, he saw a soul lying in this space, radiating a powerful aura, with time itself unable to approach. Even though the Twilight Drum Emperor was sealed, he was still so powerful that even time could not get close. Lin Moyu slowly approached, and suddenly a figure appeared before him. The spirit of time appeared, looking at Lin Moyu with a complicated expression. 3843 3843. Chapter 3843. Meeting the Spirit of Time Again. Lin Moyu had encountered the Spirit of Time several times before. The first time was in the Great World, when he took out the Catastrophic Scepter and scared the Spirit of Time away. There were a few more brief encounters after that, but never any real conversation. This was the first time they faced each other directly. From the very first meeting, Lin Moyu knew the Spirit of Time recognized the Catastrophic Scepter not just from seeing it in the River of Time, but from witnessing it firsthand, even knowing how powerful it was. The Spirit of Time looked at Lin Moyu with a complicated gaze, as if wanting to say something. He spoke calmly.
We meet again.
His voice pierced through time, altered by its flow, sometimes near, sometimes distant. The Spirit of Time was silent for a moment, then slowly said,
If you disturb the seal, he will know.
Lin Moyu was surprised.
He.
In the Spirit of Time's words clearly referred to the Lord of Time. But as the master of the Time Great Tao, shouldn't the Spirit of Time be his subordinate? Why use
he?
Like that? Could it be their relationship wasn't one of master and servant? The Spirit of Time said,
Don't be surprised. He is not my master. He is the master of the Time Great Tao, but not the master of the River of Time I am.
Lin Moyu understood their relationship now. The Lord of Time could control the flow of time, reverse it, roam the River of Time, and even turn parts of it into his own territory. But he couldn't arbitrarily alter the River of Time itself. Some things still had to obey the rules of heaven and earth. If it weren't so, the Lord of Time could use the River of Time to erase anyone he'd be invincible. Lin Moyu said,
Thank you for the warning. Please, what is your purpose here?
He remained alert, not fully trusting the Spirit of Time's words. The Spirit of Time replied,
I want to see your scepter.
See the scepter? Lin Moyu was a bit taken aback, but then took out the Catastrophic Scepter. The Spirit of Time had seen it before, so there was no harm in showing it again. Staring at the Catastrophic Scepter, the Spirit of Time's gaze grew even more complex, and he seemed somewhat agitated. Even his spiritual form trembled slightly from the excitement. For some reason, Lin Moyu saw a hint of longing in his eyes. After a long pause, the Spirit of Time slowly spoke.
3 gems already. Only 2 left.
Lin Moyu's heart stirred, and he asked,
Do you know where the 4th gem is? Yes.
The Spirit of Time answered without hesitation. Lin Moyu was delighted and quickly pressed.
Can you tell me? No.
The Spirit of Time was blunt again. I know, but I can't tell you. This answer didn't surprise Lin Moyu. After all, the Spirit of Time controlled the River of Time. There was little in the world he didn't know. Lin Moyu asked,
Can you at least give me a general direction? No.
Another crisp answer. Lin Moyu was speechless. If you can't say anything, why bring it up at all? Suddenly, the Spirit of Time said,
You can use the scepter to directly break the seal. That way, he won't sense it.
Really? The Spirit of Time didn't explain further. And in this situation, Lin Moyu could only choose to trust him. He certainly didn't want to alert the Lord of Time and risk a great battle. But there was another problem. The Lord of Time could still know Lin Moyu had been here through his time imprint. His imprint in the River of Time was vague, but not non-existent. The Lord of Time had said before that people as vague as Lin Moyu were extremely rare, and that alone could reveal his identity. The spirit of time seemed to sense Lin Moyu's thoughts and spoke again.
I will erase your imprint in the river of time. He won't know you were here.
Lin Moyu asked.
Why are you helping me?
The spirit of time replied calmly.
You'll understand in the future.
After saying this, the spirit of time vanished.
Another riddle. No one in this world can just speak plainly anymore.
Lin Moyu sighed and flew to the seal. The seal was woven from layers of time. If someone tried to force their way through, it would activate and alert the Lord of Time. But if it could be shattered instantly, leaving no time for it to activate, the Lord of Time wouldn't know. The Lord of Time's seal was extremely powerful. Almost no one could shatter it in an instant, so this loophole was as good as non-existent. But the Catastrophic Scepter was an exception, at least according to the Spirit of Time. Lin Moyu chose to trust him. He approached the seal, raised the Catastrophic Scepter high, and smashed it down with all his strength. No great Dao power, no fancy tricks, just a simple, direct strike. With a soft sound, the seal shattered, and all the years and time unraveled. The Catastrophic Scepter's unique power created a vacuum in the river of time, erasing all time and years.
So powerful!
Once again, Lin Moyu witnessed the Catastrophic Scepter's incredible might. Whether in the soul void or the real world, the Catastrophic Scepter was unstoppable. Even time itself could be erased. Lin Moyu immediately rushed in to retrieve the Twilight Drum Emperor. The imitation river of time went into effect at Lin Moyu's level. He couldn't even touch the Twilight Drum Emperor. The mere aura he naturally emitted was enough to keep Lin Moyu away. But the imitation river of time was personally refined by the Twilight Drum Emperor, so their powers shared the same root, allowing Lin Moyu to easily envelop the Twilight Drum Emperor.
Let's go!
Lin Moyu shouted, flapping the wings of time's curse and leaving the river of time. The wings beat violently, driving the time great Dao and opening an exit. Suddenly, time became chaotic. Countless streams of light intertwined. Time reversed, trying to push Lin Moyu back. Lin Moyu looked back and saw even the seal slowly restoring itself. The Lord of Time had set up more than just the seal. Lin Moyu beat the wings of time's curse, resisting the reversal of time and pushing toward the exit. In his soul, he heard beastly roars. Several beast-like monsters, cloaked in the power of time, charged at him. Their bodies were twisted, entirely woven from time.
Time beasts!
Lin Moyu recognized them, special spirit beasts born from the river of time itself. They weren't true living beings and had no souls, but the Lord of Time could control them. They could wield the Time Great Dao to attack, and their combat strength was not weak. The key was that, in the river of time, they were nearly impossible to kill. Lin Moyu didn't have time to tangle with them. He raised the Catastrophic Scepter, ready to deal with them. The Catastrophic Scepter could erase time. Dealing with time beasts was no problem. Just then, the Spirit of Time reappeared. With a wave of his small hand, time collapsed, and the time beasts dissipated like smoke. The Spirit of Time said,
These time beasts are his minions and record all information. You must not attack them.
Lin Moyu asked.
But it's fine if you do?
The Spirit of Time replied,
He can't do anything to me. You should go. Don't come back here often. Thank you.
Lin Moyu glanced at the Spirit of Time, then beat his wings and rushed out the exit. Chapter 3844. Using the morning bell and twilight drum as the signal. Bursting out from the river of time, Lin Moyu returned to the soul void. The twilight drum was not far away. The imitation river of time slowly dispersed, and the Twilight Drum Emperor automatically flew toward the Twilight Drum. The Twilight Drum radiated a gentle light, as if welcoming its master. The two resonated, and waves of drumbeats echoed throughout the heavenly spirit domain. Amid the drumbeats, the Twilight Drum Emperor's aura was steadily growing stronger. He was beginning to awaken. Lin Moyu knew the Twilight Drum Emperor was about to fully return. Watching this unfold, his mind drifted to the Spirit of Time. From the Spirit of Time's words and actions, it seemed he and the Lord of Time were at odds, with clear conflict between them. Thinking about it, it was simple. The Lord of Time surely wanted to control the Spirit of Time, but the Spirit of Time would never submit, so conflict was inevitable. The Spirit of Time's existence was already beyond measure. Far older than the Lord of Time, how could he be controlled? Unless the Lord of Time could take the final step. But that final step was exceedingly difficult. Lin Moyu guessed that the green-robed old man and the white-robed elder at the ancestral water gourd were likely beings who had taken that step. Suddenly, the drumbeat grew thunderous, interrupting Lin Moyu's thoughts. The Twilight Drum Emperor struck the drum with both hands. The sound, once deep and low, became loud and ever more stirring. In the intense drumbeats, the Twilight Drum Emperor revived and returned. A rift appeared in the void, reflecting the scene within the space-time spirit realm. A bell rang from within the rift. The morning bell and twilight drum formed a duet, performing a wondrous melody. As Lin Moyu listened to the bell and drum, he felt as if his soul was being purified. Before his eyes, time and space intertwined, revealing countless scenes from the past memories of the two emperors. The morning bell and twilight drum appeared together in the void. Then the two emperors were born, one mastering space, the other mastering time. Their relationship was not just close, they were like brothers. Only after their births did the power of the morning bell and twilight drum fully erupt, each forming their own great spirit domain. Yet the two were never apart. Even after becoming emperors, they worked together on their final step. From the scenes, it was clear they were pure-hearted, almost indifferent to worldly affairs. At that time, both great spirit domains were filled with countless living beings and infinite worlds. Then the Lord of Time appeared, deceived the Twilight Drum Emperor, and finally sealed him away. Using the Twilight Drum's power, he sealed the great spirit domain, merging all the small spirit domains into one. In the process, every living world within the small spirit domains was destroyed. Because he used the Twilight Drum's power, all the karma was attributed to the Twilight Drum Emperor, becoming shackles that bound him. Without this karma, the Lord of Time would have struggled to keep the Twilight Drum Emperor sealed for so long. Meanwhile, the Morning Bell Emperor, in order to save the Twilight Drum Emperor, could only push forward on his own final step. He used an extreme method to accelerate his progress, which also involved merging the Great Spirit Domain and turning all its living worlds into fuel. In Lin Moyu's eyes, the true culprit was the Lord of Time. Most of the karma should fall on him. Yet the Lord of Time remained untouched by karma, while the immense burden of destruction fell mainly on the two emperors. Such karma is no blessing, it could erupt at any time and bring disaster. This, Lin Moyu thought, was the injustice of the Great Tao. He had his own understanding of this and found it hard to judge right or wrong. The drumbeats gradually faded, and the Twilight Drum Emperor finally fully revived. He learned everything that had happened from his clone. The Twilight Drum Emperor looked at Lin Moyu, his deep voice echoing through the void.
"Thank you, Taoist Lin, for saving me. I will remember this favor."
Lin Moyu replied,
"Emperor, just remember to help me deal with the world will when the time comes."
The Twilight Drum Emperor said,
"Of course. When the time comes, use the morning bell and twilight drum as the signal, and we will come."
Hearing this, Lin Moyu felt more at ease. The Origin Continent's world will was strong, but not yet eternal. Against two emperors, it would surely lose. The key was the karma attached to the world will. If the emperors attacked it, they would be entangled in karma, but for these two, who already carried the burden of countless destroyed worlds and lives, a little more didn't matter. Because of this, Lin Moyu actually trusted their promise. He believed, but not fully, he would make his own preparations too. Lin Moyu asked,
"What do you plan to do about the Lord of Time, Emperor?"
The Twilight Drum Emperor replied,
"Shiryu's debt will be settled, but not now. I've been sealed for many years, and though I've revived, my power hasn't fully returned. And my brother Morning Bell helped me advance on the final step. I need to keep pace with him. When your matter is resolved, I'll seek him out for a reckoning."
For Lin Moyu, that meant his own matter would be resolved in a few centuries. A few centuries is but a blink to an emperor. Besides, in a few centuries, The Lord of Time might not have recovered. He might face even greater trouble then. Lin Moyu decided to watch and see how things developed. With the two emperors' promise, he felt much more at ease than when he started. He asked,
Emperor, I've noticed the changes in the Great Spirit domain. Why merge all the domains and destroy the worlds?
He'd always wondered about this. The Redstone Emperor was doing the same, and so was the Morning Bell Emperor. If it benefited the emperors, why did the Lord of Time do it too, when for him it only became a shackle? The Twilight Drum Emperor replied,
It's a cruel thing. Do you really want to know?
Lin Moyu said,
I've always believed that seeking the secrets of the world and understanding heaven and earth is also a form of cultivation. So I'm interested in what I don't understand. But if it's too secret, you don't have to say.
The Twilight Drum Emperor said,
It's not really a secret. All eternal beings know it. We are different from you. You comprehend the great Tao, each walking a different path. But we don't need to comprehend the Tao. Our control over it is only through these innate origin treasures. All emperors share the same nameless Tao, created just for us. So the final step we must take is much the same. Our path is tied to the innate origin treasures, and the simplest way to strengthen them is to merge the Great Spirit domain, refining all its worlds and lives into nourishment for the treasure. But because the karma is so immense, if there's another way, we'd rather not do it. My Great Spirit domain was destroyed by the Lord of Time, but the karma fell on me. Since that's the case, I can only see it through to the end. Besides, there's another difficulty in merging the Great Spirit domain, you cultivators. For example, the human sovereign in the Juma Great Spirit domain, his presence makes it impossible to merge the domain. The Redstone Emperor is in the process of merging, but it will take time. Before the merge is complete, there can be no eternal existence in the domain, or it will all be for nothing.
Chapter 3845. The Great Battle Approaches. In the eyes of an emperor, the void beasts and living beings of a great spirit domain, including all the worlds within, are ultimately insignificant. As long as they are willing to bear the karma, these emperors can erase them all without hesitation. Unless someone in the great spirit domain, or a world will, steps into eternity, only then can they resist an emperor's devouring. But under normal circumstances, emperors rarely do this. They are unwilling to shoulder such karmic consequences. The Twilight Drum Emperor was forced into it. He never wanted to do such things. The Morning Bell Emperor did it out of necessity. As for the Redstone Emperor, no one knows his reasons. Moreover, once an eternal level being appears in a great spirit domain, emperors lose the ability to erase them. That ability is completely nullified, and to take the final step, they must find another path. The reason is simple. It's all about strengthening their innate origin treasures. For an emperor, this is not considered wrong after all. In their eyes, the cultivators and void beasts within a great spirit domain are nothing but ants. How could they possibly care about an ant's feelings? They only consider themselves. The Twilight Drum Emperor spoke directly and without pretense, clearing up many of Lin Moyu's doubts. From his answers, Lin Moyu came to understand how an emperor views the entire world. All beings, including void beasts, cultivators, world wills, and Tao beasts, are ultimately just different forms of existence. Lin Moyu's understanding of the world deepened, and seeing things from this new perspective helped him better grasp the essence of reality and aided the evolution of his own myriad worlds. When he returned, his will would subtly influence his own great world, making it more complete and perfect. After a long conversation, Lin Moyu left the Twilight Drum Great Spirit domain. Although he hadn't succeeded in getting the Lord of Time to act as planned, the outcome was even better. Two emperors were now willing to help him, even at the cost of bearing karma. What could be better than that? Now, with more than 400 years left before the appointed time, Lin Moyu planned to spend that time in the vacuum, continuing to hunt Tao beasts and seek virtual real spirit realms. Tao beast essences and innate origin treasures, he could never have too many. After returning, he knew he would advance to Tao Lord, at which point he would have to choose among the 6 great Taos he cultivated. Lin Moyu entered the vacuum, becoming a hunter, beginning a centuries-long hunt. After this hunt, he knew he would face a life and death battle. If he won, he would gain more time to continue his plans and eventually break free from the world will. If he lost, and the world will achieved eternity and sacrificed all living beings, then his story would end. In the origin continent, years passed, and Lin Moyu's destiny was nearing its end. Every 100 years, the world's restrictions loosened by one realm. 4th tier soul, 3rd tier soul. The Tao realm cultivators in the origin continent grew ever stronger. The influence of the outer Taos within the origin continent had long surpassed that of the local powers. However, because of Lin Moyu's past actions, these newcomers behaved themselves, at least for now. Some were just watching, others were itching for a fight, but no one had made a real move yet. They were all waiting for the moment Lin Moyu's destiny Tao ended. After waiting so many years, a little longer didn't matter. But preparations were already underway in secret. The storm was about to break. Lin Moyu appeared outside the Golden Furnace Great Spirit domain, still riding Little Python. Nearly 300 years had passed, and Little Python had finally reached the 1st tier innate soul level. When it achieved this, it heard a summons from the beast abyss, a call so tempting Little Python was nearly ensnared. This was the call of life and reincarnation, something ordinary void beasts could hardly resist. Lin Moyu had prepared for this, storing Little Python in his spatial treasure long in advance, only releasing it after a long wait. Yet the summons persisted, not fading with time. Lin Moyu realized Little Python had to withstand it on its own. Outside help could only delay, not prevent, the challenge. Little Python could only resist the lure. Most void beasts lack a Tao heart, let alone a strong will. Those who can withstand it are one in millions, and they usually become kings of small spirit domains. If Little Python succeeded, Lin Moyu could help it obtain an innate virtual treasure and let it enjoy being a small domain king. Little Python closed its eyes and gritted its teeth in the void, unmoving. After several days, the voice of temptation gradually weakened. After 10 days, it finally disappeared completely. Little Python cheered excitedly.
I did it, Master, I did it.
Lin Moyu laughed.
Not bad. Did you gain anything?
Little Python replied.
At first, the voice tempted me to go to the beast abyss. To lure me, it showed me many visions. If I went, I could reincarnate into the real world and become a powerful cultivator with great fortune. We void beasts all want to go to the real world most of all. That temptation is really hard to resist. But thanks to you, Master, I held on. I know that only by following you can I become truly strong. All that talk of reincarnation is just a trick. It can't fool me.
Little Python boasted and flattered Lin Moyu at the same time. It was smart enough to know that as long as it stuck with Lin Moyu, not only could it be a small domain king, it might even become a world lord. While it was complimenting him, laughter rang out nearby. Several elemental liches were playing. Laughing loudly, even the usually serious scarlet blood Tao spirit sometimes let out a laugh. In nearly 300 years, Lin Moyu had collected 80 Tao beast essences, but unfortunately, hadn't found a single innate origin treasure. He entered 2 virtual real spirit realms, but both times, just as he was about to obtain a treasure, the realm collapsed and the treasure vanished into the broken space. Aside from those 2 failures, the frequency of finding Tao beasts was also dropping. Especially in the past century, it often took 5 or 6 years to find one, compared to every 2 or 3 years before. Felt as if his luck had run out. In the vacuum, Lin Moyu couldn't use the fate Tao to observe his own luck. But his intuition was never wrong, his luck was waning. The reason, he knew, was that his destiny was coming to an end and the world will was about to awaken. When that happened, the Taos would return, and the world's luck would be gathered by the will. Even though Lin Moyu controlled the fate Tao, he couldn't keep his luck in the face of the world will. Back then, the child of the world lost all his luck in an instant, powerless to resist. Not just luck, his other Taos would be affected too. Perhaps only the immortality Tao would remain untouched. Lin Moyu sighed.
Time to go back.
Little Python said.
Master, aren't you going to wait for the summons to finish?
Lin Moyu glanced at the blazing immortal fire and shook his head.
No need to wait.
Chapter 3846. The further away, the better. For nearly 300 years, Lin Moyu used the essence of chaos to summon elemental liches. The undying flame burned for almost 3 centuries, and yet the essence of chaos showed no sign of melting. But it also didn't fail, which meant the essence of chaos met the summoning requirements. It was just that the essence of chaos was of such a high level that no one knew how long it would take to succeed in summoning an elemental lich with it. Lin Moyu didn't have the patience to keep waiting, so he decided to give up for now and try again later. As for the Void Soul Essence Stone, although the Lord of Time called it an innate origin treasure, it wasn't truly a material, it was the corpse of a chaos worm. Lin Moyu tried using it to summon elemental liches, but ultimately failed. He withdrew the undying flame and left the Golden Furnace Great Domain. After returning, Lin Moyu first sent a message to the Discernment Beast, telling it to get ready. When the world will recovered, it would manifest, but only for a short time. If they missed the window, it would be troublesome. The jade slip condensed by the Discernment Beast vibrated lightly in response, indicating it understood. On his way back, Lin Moyu went to check on Xiao Zhantian. After taking over the world of the Four-Armed Clan, Xiao Zhantian had spent the past centuries refining Dao Beast Essence. The Dao Beast Essence sped up his spirit-nurturing process, and now he was close to manifesting a true form. Lin Moyu hadn't planned to ask Xiao Zhantian for help in this matter. He was still too weak, far from being able to contend with the world will of the Origin Continent. As he got closer to the Origin Continent, Lin Moyu felt more clearly that his luck had already been greatly depleted. Finally, less than 10 million miles from the Origin Continent, Lin Moyu sensed the Fate Great Tao radiating from the continent. With this, he could finally clearly observe his own luck. Once, his luck was at its peak, but now it was less than a third of its former glory. Most of his luck came from the world itself. Now, as the world will was awakening and about to fully recover, it was reclaiming all the luck. Not just luck, his other great Daos were affected as well. The power of the great Daos hadn't changed, but Lin Moyu felt it was no longer as pure as before. When the world will was dormant, he could directly mobilize the power of the great Daos. Now, as the world will revived, he had to pass through 3 extra thresholds to mobilize their power. It was as if the world will had added a switch between him and the great Daos. If it wanted, it could shut off that switch, and Lin Moyu would no longer be able to use the power of the great Daos. The root of all this was the true spirit imprint. The world will could directly manipulate the true spirit imprint, greatly weakening a cultivator's power. That's why, back then, even beings as powerful as the 3 Lives Buddha and the Lord of Hell were utterly powerless before the world will. Most people are completely unaware of this. They don't sense any change and have no idea that there's now a switch between themselves and the great Daos. Only people with extremely sensitive souls like Lin Moyu can feel it. But even those people don't know about the existence of the world will, so they'd never guess the real reason. Just as he was about to return to the Origin Continent, Lin Moyu received a message from the 3rd ancestor. When they parted ways, Lin Moyu had given each of them a miniaturized skeleton general to use as a communicator within a certain range. Following his connection to the skeleton general, Lin Moyu quickly found the 3rd ancestor and the others. The 3rd ancestor, Mohei, the Beast Emperor, and Shangguan Wentian were all there. Drinking tea together, they had clearly been waiting for him for some time. Seeing Lin Moyu, all 4 smiled. The 3rd ancestor raised his cup and smiled.
The little fox is finally back.
They left a seat open for Lin Moyu, who sat down.
Seniors, have you gained anything these years?
The 4 exchanged glances and smiled. The 3rd ancestor said,
Thanks to you, we each found a few worlds.
The Beast Emperor added,
Coincidentally, all those worlds had once invaded the Origin Continent during the Great Calamity.
Mohei said,
Those worlds aren't very strong, but we didn't alert anyone.
Back then, the Black Blood Realm and the Heavenly God Realm led their subordinate worlds to invade the Origin Continent, causing the Great Calamity. Afterward, the Black Blood and Heavenly God Realms retreated, moving their main worlds far away, even leaving the Golden Furnace Great Domain. But their subordinate worlds weren't so lucky when the Origin Continent counterattacked. Those worlds were all heavily damaged. Lin Moyu found it odd that they'd found worlds so easily, but upon reflection, it must have been the work of karma. Those worlds owed the origin continent a great karmic debt, and as the world will awakened, that karma was coming due. So, guided by fate, the third ancestor and the others found worlds that had participated in the great calamity. Lin Moyu took a sip of tea and said seriously,
"We need to change our plan. Let me explain to you all."
The third ancestor asked in a low voice.
"What's the change?"
Lin Moyu said,
"Over the past centuries, I've been to many places, including a great domain called Juma. In the Juma Great Domain, the human race dominates, and there's a human sovereign."
Lin Moyu described the situation in the Jumu Great Domain, especially how cultivators there could control the world will and use it to become world lords. World Lord was a Tao Lord level realm, but their strength surpassed ordinary Tao Lords, since they could draw on the power of the world will at any time. Lin Moyu's explanation was like opening a new world to the third ancestor and the others. The third ancestor, barely containing his excitement, said,
"So we can also control a world will and become its master?"
Lin Moyu replied,
"Exactly. You're all Tao Lords. If others can do it, so can you. As for the biggest problem in becoming a world lord, that's the spirit-seizing technique of the human sovereign. Fortunately, I had a stroke of luck and happened to obtain the spirit-seizing technique."
Lin Moyu didn't intend to keep the technique to himself, but he also couldn't just hand it out. If word of the spirit-seizing technique got out and reached the human sovereign, it would bring trouble. The human sovereign wouldn't tolerate the technique leaking and would surely try to eliminate Lin Moyu and the others. So Lin Moyu decided to keep the spirit-seizing technique in his own hands and help the third ancestor and the others seize worlds when needed. The third ancestor and the others had no objections. Lin Moyu said,
"The world will is about to fully awaken and will soon attempt to reach eternity. I already have a plan to stop it and buy us more time."
The third ancestor asked,
"Is there anything we can do?"
The four looked at Lin Moyu, their eyes full of excitement and a bit of nervousness. Lin Moyu shook his head slightly.
"This time, none of you need to act, and I won't act either. I've made arrangements. For now, don't return to the origin continent. Stay as far away as possible."
Chapter 3847. Lin Moyu, come up and die. The four followed Lin Moyu's instructions and did not return to the origin continent. They understood Lin Moyu's strength well, and knew that those from the outer Great Tao couldn't do anything to him. Lin Moyu never even regarded them as real opponents. From beginning to end, he ignored them. His only true opponent was the world will. All these years, Lin Moyu had been running about, waiting for this moment. The third ancestor and the others left far away. Little Python also hid deep in the chaotic mists, while Lin Moyu returned to the origin continent alone. He had a premonition that this battle would be massive, and when it broke out, the surrounding space would be shaken on a terrifying scale. If you didn't hide far enough, you wouldn't even know how you died. Within the origin continent's world, the chaotic mists still floated, and soul worlds drifted within them. No one sensed the impending danger. Even those origin Tao lords probably didn't know they were about to face the fate of being sacrificed. This cycle, the world will had hidden itself very well. Back in the myriad worlds, Lin Moyu took out some Tao beast essence and let the myriad worlds absorb it. After several centuries, the myriad worlds had only refined 4 clusters of Tao beast essence. Each one saved the myriad worlds 40,000 years of time. As the myriad worlds grew stronger, its speed at refining Tao beast essence would only increase. The scarlet fire Tao spirit flew out and merged into the myriad worlds, bringing it a brand new great Tao. Now, the myriad worlds lacked fewer and fewer Taos, and each new one was rarer and harder to find. Lin Moyu knew he couldn't rush it and could only let fate decide. Now, he was getting closer and closer to becoming a Tao Lord, and these centuries had helped him decide how to choose among his 6 great Taos. He had already made up his mind whether to follow the human sovereign's path of mastering one Tao and supplementing with others, or to take a different route. In the soul world, the world tree had produced many new world spirits, which Lin Moyu sent into the bone hell to act as helpers. The myriad worlds now contained countless middle and small worlds, and the number of living beings had exploded. The world spirits were the perfect assistants, easing the burden on the little ones. Lin Moyu could tell the little ones enjoyed the work, cooperating smoothly with Heiyu, Black Prison. When his consciousness returned to his body, before he even opened his eyes, he sensed the changes in the world. The origin spiritual chi was denser than before, but the origin spirit veins hadn't increased. This chi appeared out of nowhere. Lin Moyu knew this was because the world will was about to awaken. The origin continent had nurtured countless origin spirit veins over the years, far more than he'd seen before. Most were hidden by the world will. Now, as it prepared to awaken, it needed vast amounts of origin spiritual chi and naturally released them. Lin Moyu slowly opened his eyes and was greeted by Antares's huge dragon eyes.
You're back.
Antares's voice was low, as if suppressing some emotion. Lin Moyu asked,
What happened? See for yourself.
Antares said, moving aside to let Lin Moyu look. The sky was gray and oppressive, with a suffocating aura blanketing everything. Defensive fortresses hung in the outer Great Dao, ready to fall at any moment. Beyond them, Dao realm powerhouses stood atop the fortresses, side by side, their eyes unfriendly. From their attire, it was clear they were all from the Hell Alliance. Many were first-tier innate soul Dao realm cultivators, exuding fierce auras. Above them were several Hell Alliance leaders. Antares said,
See? These guys are just waiting. As soon as your destiny ends, they'll make their move.
Lin Moyu chuckled.
Are you afraid?
Antares snorted.
Afraid of what? I could kill a bunch of these clowns with a single breath.
Lin Moyu said,
Exactly. They're just a bunch of jumping clowns, not worth worrying about.
Antares grumbled.
It's just annoying to be stared at by a bunch of bugs every day. Don't you find it irritating?
Lin Moyu laughed, so that's what bothered him. Well, nothing to be done about it. The world was still sealed off, so neither side could act yet. Even when the time came, it would only be after Lin Moyu left the origin continent. These guys would never dare make a move inside the origin continent, or the world will would destroy them. Looking around, Lin Moyu sensed the restrictions of heaven and earth. His destiny was indeed at its end. He also saw the changes on the central continent. There were now many first-tier innate soul Dao realm cultivators.
When did the first-tier souls get in?
Lin Moyu asked. Antares thought for a moment.
About 20 years ago.
Doing the math, Lin Moyu realized the world will was awakening faster than expected, dozens of years ahead of schedule. Normally, this shouldn't happen unless it sensed something. Given how powerful the world will was, it was only natural for it to have a premonition. Lin Moyu said,
Get ready. It's about to begin.
Antares understood what Lin Moyu meant.
You're ready?
Lin Moyu nodded.
If nothing goes wrong, there's no problem. If something does, those guys outside can die with us.
Antares gave a bitter laugh.
That pessimistic?
Lin Moyu said,
That's reality. So be mentally prepared.
Antares snorted.
I'm not afraid of death. With so many dying with me, it's worth it.
The two chatted and laughed, treating life and death as trivial matters. Lin Moyu drew divine runes, quickly forming a grand formation, which he continued to strengthen over time. The formation was layered and complex. No one, not even Antares, could understand what it was for. Lin Moyu offered no explanation. This was his true trump card. If his plan failed, not only would those from the outer Great Dao die with him, but even the world will would perish. With his true spirit imprint in the world will's hands, his Great Daos were restricted. Only the immortality Great Dao could be used at full power. At his current cultivation, relying on only the immortality Great Dao meant he couldn't defeat the world will. That's where the formation came in. It could at least hold off the world will for a while. During that time, for Dao-level elemental liches would trigger Great Dao punishment, dragging the world will down with them. Plus, Lin Moyu still had 3 Void Soul Essence Stones, 3 corpse explosions. He didn't believe he couldn't kill the world will. At worst, they'd all perish together. Year after year, the formation grew stronger in Lin Moyu's hands. The Dao realm cultivators from the outer Great Dao didn't recognize the formation but could tell it was mainly defensive. They thought Lin Moyu was afraid and sneered. Only Antares knew Lin Moyu's real enemy wasn't these people. On the 50th year after Lin Moyu's return to the origin continent, the final barrier between heaven and earth was lifted. The world was fully restored. Dao lords could now enter the origin continent. At that moment, Lin Moyu's destiny also officially ended.
Lin Moyu, come up and die.